Hi there. My name is Rebecca Carrington. I am the clinical intern for Silver Linings for Seniors. And today I'm going to share with you a presentation that I made talking about self-care tips for our frontline workers and our essential workers. Right now, it's so important to be taking care of yourself, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. It's always important to have self-care, but especially during this time for our frontline and essential workers is definitely a huge priority and a huge concern for a lot of people. So let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, so again, like I said, my name is Rebecca Carrington. I'm with Silver Linings for Seniors and Silver Linings Teletherapy. So to start off with, we have this image of the self-care iceberg. So basically the top of the iceberg is what everyone can basically see and what you can kind of see physically of yourself, which is your state of health. And then beneath the surface, you have lifestyle and behavioral health, you have psychological and motivational level, and then at the very bottom, you have spiritual being and meaning realm. So what is self-care? So according to the World Health Organization, self-care is what people do for themselves to establish and maintain health and to prevent and deal with illness. It is a broad concept encompassing hygiene, general and personal, nutrition, type and quality of food eaten, lifestyle, sporting activities, leisure, etc., environmental factors, living conditions, social habits, socio socioeconomic factors such as income level, cultural beliefs, etc., and self-medication. Who also defines self-care as a lifelong habit and culture. It is the action individuals take for themselves and their families to stay healthy and take care of minor and long-term conditions based on their knowledge and the information available and working in collaboration with health and social care professionals where necessary. So ISF Global actually proposes 7 main categories of self-care, and you can see them listed in this image here as well. So number 1 is knowledge and health literacy. Number 2 is mental well-being. Number 3 is physical activity. Number 4 is healthy eating. Number 5 is risk avoidance. Number 6 is good hygiene. And number 7 is rational use of services and products. And if you want to see more about this or learn more about this, I included the link below as well. So for frontline and essential workers, during this COVID-19 pandemic, 64% of frontline healthcare workers and their families have reported that worry or stress from the pandemic has affected them in at least one of the following ways: sleep problems, poor appetite or overeating, frequent headaches or stomach aches, increased drug or alcohol use, worsening of current chronic conditions, and difficulty controlling their tempers. And you can also learn more about this at the link provided below. So here's just a couple of tips for you to practice daily for self-care. These are a few just kind of simple, easy things that you can kind of get in the habit of doing. So number 1 is mindful breathing. This will help you to deal with stress and strong emotions. There's a lot of YouTube videos, and I've included one in the presentation as well to kind of teach you a little bit more about mindful breathing and how to kind of get in the practice of that. Number 2 is to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness can help you be more consciously aware of your interactions and what you're going through on a daily basis. So kind of helping you process through the emotions and things that you may be dealing with on a daily basis or seeing on a daily basis. And then kind of getting back to basics, making sure that you're getting adequate rest, eating healthy, and getting at least 15 to 30 minutes of exercise in a couple days a week. And the exercise can actually help mitigate the effects of stress hormones. So that's why exercise and getting moving is so important. This can look as easy as a 15-minute walk or 30 minutes of yoga, something light if you're not, don't have the energy to do something a little bit harder. You can always do something like that, or you can do something like go for a run, lift weights, things like that as well. So here I've included the little YouTube clip to practice mindfulness.
So sitting comfortably, just beginning with a nice big deep breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. So eyes open, a soft focus. As you breathe out, you can allow the breath to return to its natural rhythm. Just keep the eyes open for a moment. Just just focusing in on one particular object within your field of vision. Not staring at it too intently, still aware of the space around you. Just gently focusing on that one object. And then just slowly zooming back out again as you blink a few times with the eyes.
Another helpful tip for learning more about mindful breathing, if it's something that you're interested in or you think could be helpful for you. If you have an Apple Watch, there's also the Breathe app on your Apple Watch. You can set up reminders for yourself every hour, once a day, whatever the case may be, to kind of just take a minute to take some slow, deep breaths and help you kind of get into that mindful breathing practice.
So sitting comfortably.
So here's a couple of self-care tips from the CDC. Number one is take breaks from the news, including on social media. You know, it's so easy to get caught up in going on Facebook and just kind of scrolling, absently scrolling, but your mind is still processing the information that you're taking in, even if you're just kind of mindlessly scrolling. So it's important, especially because social media outlets like Twitter and Facebook do have a lot of news outlets and things like that shared on there as well. So it's important to remind yourself to take a break and kind of check out of that for a little bit. Number two is take care of your body with healthy meals, exercise, and deep breathing techniques, just like we kind of practiced. And then number three is take time to relax and do some at-home activities that you enjoy. And number four is making sure that you're still connecting with your loved ones. So whether that's through a text message every now and again, a FaceTime call, you can do Zoom meetings, things like that to kind of help you stay connected with the people in your life that you care about. And again, if you'd like more information on that, the link is included below. And here's a couple of self-care tips from WHO. So number one is maintain a healthy lifestyle, including appropriate sleep, exercise, and diet. Number two, don't use alcohol or other drugs to cope with feelings of sadness or anxiety. Number three is follow a credible source for information about COVID-19, such as WHO or CDC. Going back to the whole social media thing, there's so much information out there and there's so much false information that's being spread through social media. It's important to make sure that you're going back to organizations such as WHO and CDC to get accurate information. Number four is to limit how much time you spend watching or listening to the news that makes you upset. And number five is use coping mechanisms that have helped you in the past during difficult situations. And I included this metaphor. It's one of the greatest metaphors of all time, I believe. So it's when you're on the airplane and an emergency situation happens and they drop the oxygen mask down. They always tell you to make sure you put the oxygen mask on yourself before helping someone else, because if you are not getting the correct oxygen to your body and you pass out, you can't be of help with anyone. And so this really applies to your life and self-care. You need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself so you can continue taking care of others. And finally, this is such a stressful and worrisome time for so many. If you or anyone that you know may be considering suicide, please call 911. You can also contact the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, the Disaster Distress Helpline, or the National Suicide Prevention Line. You can also text the crisis text line as well. And if you'd like some more information on this topic, I've included a few links here. But other than that, thanks so much for tuning in to this presentation. And I hope you've learned a couple of helpful self-care tips for during these crazy times that we're in.